You've probably seen this image 1,000 times, right? But what if I told you it holds a secret about your own personal climate? Yeah, a secret that's connected to a planet that literally spins backwards. This is the Empress, and her story is actually a practical guide to changing the world around you by starting from the inside. Okay, let's get into it. So we start with this riddle: a forest, friends made of values, and a stone heart that somehow softens morals. I mean, it sounds like poetry, but it's not. It's a code. Each one of these things is a clue to a really profound truth about how we influence each other. And our journey to crack this code, it doesn't start on Earth. It starts way out there, deep in the stars. And right at the heart of it all is Venus. We're talking both the planet and the goddess. You know, the name itself comes from an ancient word for desire, which that points us straight to the core of what human values are all about. This one celestial body, believe it or not, holds the key to unlocking all three parts of our riddle. All right, so our first clue comes from a really strange astronomical fact about the planet Venus. It behaves differently from almost every other planet in our solar system, and that difference is super symbolic of the Empress's power. Okay, check this out. On Earth and on most planets, the sun rises in the east. Why? Because we spin counterclockwise. But Venus, well, Venus moves to the beat of its own drum. It spins clockwise, in the opposite direction. So if you were standing on its surface, the sun would actually rise in the west. How wild is that?
Now, you might hear that and think Venus is some kind of chaotic rebel, but that's not really the case. See, the planet Uranus also spins this way, but its axis is tilted so far over that it kind of tumbles erratically through space, a perfect match for the chaotic fool archetype. Venus, though, isn't eccentric, it's deliberate. It's just on its own mind.
So what in the world does a planet's backward spin have to do with us? Well, it's this powerful symbol for living from the inside out. When you move according to your own nature, even if it feels like you're going against the flow of the crowd, that's not selfishness. It's fundamental authenticity. It's about having your own internal sunrise. And that idea leads us perfectly to our second clue. This one brings us from the cosmos right into our own inner world. Because if the Empress archetype is all about living by our values, we've got to ask, what exactly are values in this context?
So values aren't just these ideas we hold in our heads, they're tangible experiences. They show up as a feeling of satisfaction that is so profound, so real, that you simply can't argue with it. It's that gut feeling, right? That internal compass pointing you toward what is truly, deeply right for you.
And according to this archetype, the foundational value, the one that everything else is built on, is health. Because think about it, without health, can anything else really bring you that undisputed satisfaction? And you see this in the classic image of the Empress. She always wears a loose flowing dress. That's meant to symbolize a body and a mind that are free from tension, a state of total harmony with yourself.
Okay, time for our third and final clue. We're going to see how these internal values create an actual external effect. This is where the forest from our original question finally comes into play, and it's through this really beautiful ecological metaphor.
So, in this symbolic system, think of it like this. Your personal values are the element of earth. They're solid, grounding, firm, like a deep-rooted forest. Then you have the social environment, with all its rules and morals, and that's the element of air. And just like in nature, the earth has a direct, powerful impact on the air.
A forest doesn't try to change the atmosphere, it just is. And by simply being a forest, deeply rooted, true to its own nature, it naturally cools the air, absorbs what's toxic, and creates a healthier, more comfortable climate. And in the very same way, your stable inner state, naturally and without any effort, changes the social world around you.
So how does this work in practice? The cause and effect is actually beautifully simple. When you stand firmly on the ground of your own values and you cultivate that undisputed satisfaction within yourself, you don't have to go out and try to change society. By simply being in harmony with yourself, you naturally soften the social climate, creating a healthier atmosphere for everyone you interact with.
So now we have all three clues: the astronomy of Venus, the psychology of values, and the ecology of influence. We can finally solve that riddle we started this whole thing with.
Okay, let's put it all together. The forest behind the Empress, that represents your deeply rooted, life-giving personal values, the earth. Her best friends are those very values, guiding her with that undeniable feeling of satisfaction. And she softens the stone heart of rigid social morals simply by living authentically, moving in her own direction, just like Venus. which naturally creates a better, more harmonious social climate for everyone, the air.
So you see, the final lesson of the Empress isn't about power or control. It's about a quiet, profound kind of influence. And it leaves us with this question to really think about. When you are truly grounded in who you are, what kind of world naturally grows around you? What climate are you creating just by being you?